We were all expecting Oscar Pistorius to be released on parole this morning, but what happened last night just after 7:30, according to Correctional Services, nothing is affair with this release, this early release. He was meant to be released this morning, but instead was released at 7:30 last night. Correctional Services saying, I'm quoting, that they took all factors into consideration when they allowed him to go home this evening. That's all they're saying on that, so we can read into it what we like, but that is what the official statement is from Correctional Services, and it is up to the local institution, that's the prison that he is at, as to when he can actually have been released and what time. Well, Chriselda Lewis is stationed outside of the house now. She's in Waterkloof, and we have heard that apparently the family spokesperson and associate just arrived at the house, so one can only imagine that they are about to prepare a statement. That's what we can assume if she has arrived there, and we may hear something from the family this morning sometime. But right now, we've got a friend, one of Oscar Pistorius' best friend, Dewald Reynders. He's with Chriselda Lewis. Let's cross over to her right now.
Well, thank you very much, Leanne. We're starting to see a bit of activity here outside the home of Arnold Pistorius. We just saw one woman walk inside carrying some flowers. We can't confirm who she is at this stage, but many of the people around this area are certainly coming past, taking pictures. I don't think surprised by the media contingent here, given that this is the Pistorius home. The media contingent again continues to grow as we're expecting some word from the Pistorius family following, of course, that release just a few hours before Oscar Pistorius was initially scheduled for release from the Kgosi Mampuru correctional facility under correctional supervision. But of course, there are many others who've shown support for Oscar Pistorius over the years. One particular person is Dewald Reynders, which you recall seeing him outside the court carrying some balloons sympathizing with Oscar Pistorius. He was a running mate with Oscar Pistorius in 2005 at the Olympics, and certainly, you know, much support. One of the people who was saying that Oscar Pistorius needs to be given a chance and believed the version that Oscar Pistorius stuck to till the end of the trial, when Oscar Pistorius maintained, of course, that he had shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp, thinking that she was an intruder. Dewald, thank you very much for your time this morning. Certainly, it must have been a long time coming. Every time I spoke to you, you've been waiting for this day. This is the day you've been waiting for.
Yes, morning, Chriselda. Yes, I'm obviously very relieved, and I think so are a million of people out there. We've been supporting Oscar ever since, also the other families involved. We've never only maintained support for Oscar. I think it's just fair to maintain support for everyone. And yeah, today is a very good day. I'm very, very happy.
Talk us a bit through your history with Oscar Pistorius. You were Oscar Pistorius' running mate in 2005. And you've always maintained, you've painted a picture of Oscar Pistorius, certainly somebody whom we didn't know. But, you know, there's been much criticism for the early release of Oscar Pistorius. Certainly the media we've spoken to here have been saying that just a few hours, that was not the initial date that was set by the parole board. What are your thoughts on that?
Firstly, I met Oscar in 2004. I'm not a running mate, I'm a shot putter. Yes. But yes, I've been teammates with him in some national teams as well as, you know, local teams. I met Oscar in 2004, immediately saw this is somebody with the world's best potential ever. He was absolutely brilliant from the start. He's always been the same Oscar to me, so many friends that know him intimately. He's a kind guy, he's very, very, very giving, he's caring, and he's been like that for 10, 11 years that I've known him, and he's never changed, he's never been different. Yes, initially it was a huge shock when we saw the media outcry as well as criticism from people that don't really know him. We know him very well. Oscar's always been kind. He's been kind to all people of all spheres.
But there's been much criticism that you supported Oscar Pistorius even though he had shot and killed someone.
Yes, there's been criticism. I think one's just got to be, you know, focused on how you handle it. I believe in faith. You know, my faith has carried me through. A lot of people have been criticizing the fact that, you know, we support somebody like Oscar. He's a human being. I personally think he made a mistake, you know, but that's not for me to judge. I will never judge a person. And yes, It's been a hard year or three for him. I know that there's been lots of support from international people, many support groups. This is actually a token of the support for Oscar. There's an international group supporting Oscar. There's Oscar Angels, who's mainly women, all over the world, supporting him, praying for him, as well as for the other families involved.
All right. Do you plan to go inside, perhaps, or send some messages to Oscar Pistorius and his family?
I will definitely send a message to Oscar's family. Thank you so much for being kind. Thank you so much for being there for him. I think it's been very hard for him, but you've showed people what true humility is. You've showed people what true caring is, and for that I can only thank his uncle and Lois and all the family involved, the sister, the brother. And yes, I believe this is a time that people should really respect Oscar and his family, for him to heal, for him to properly get through all of this. And we're all still praying. I mean, this is not over yet. We're all still praying, and we'll be praying for years for him. He's a friend, and he will stay a friend.
Have you shown the same support for Reeva Steenkamp's family? They've lost a daughter. That's part of where the criticism comes from, is that you've not shown the same compassion towards the family of the victim.
That's not true. We've showed the same compassion. I'm also a victim where we've lost a brother many years ago. Just about that, very shortly, the woman came to my brother's funeral. Her son was involved, and she begged us for forgiveness. We immediately embraced the situation, and we've kept her in our prayers as well. Even when we went to court in April last year, I've had a cross with a nice message for Reeva's mom. Unfortunately, that specific day she was not at court, but I've been praying in my prayers, and I know what I do. I've been praying all along that I've been speaking to you. We've kept them in our prayers. We've kept all the families involved in the prayers. So yes, and we will keep doing that.
Do you and the group of supporters or sympathizers plan to be outside the Bloemfontein Supreme Court of Appeal, as we know that the state, of course, wants Oscar Pistorius to now be found guilty of murder?
I surely think that people will support. Obviously, it's in Bloemfontein. I will keep on supporting him through prayer, and so will the various support groups do. The people are extremely focused. The people are extremely kind. They not only support Oscar, although it says support for Oscar, there's lots of prayers going for the Steenkamp family. There's lots of prayers going for Oscar's family, his immediate circle of friends, and so forth. So yes, I suppose they will most definitely support him.
Dewald Reynders, thank you very much for your time there. One of the former teammates of Oscar Pistorius, who's clearly been outside the court on previous occasions, so showing support for Oscar Pistorius, saying quite a relief. This is the day that they have been waiting for. Of course, some of that criticism also saying that they're also part of the group that has been supporting Reeva Steenkamp's family. The prayers have also been going out for Reeva Steenkamp's family, and they will continue to do so. So as we wait for more of that reaction, still waiting for some reaction, of course, from the Pistorius family to come through, but of course nothing from Reeva Steenkamp's family at this point as well, Leanne. But of course we'll keep you up to date as to what's happening outside Arnold Pistorius' home here in Waterkloof.
Right, Riv, thank you so much there. Chriselda Lewis reporting for us. Also, just that news, in London, there is going to be a march outside the SA Embassy. That's at 9:30 this morning, and that's, of course, in protest of the release of Oscar Pistorius. But the other very big news story that we need to update you on very quickly is what's happening at UCT. A large police contingency has now been deployed to